Elon.
So many doges. Yeah.
All right, another take. Polygon, rise of Polygon. What does this mean? Sushi Swap passed 500 million total locked value on Polygon this week. That's just one. Delphi Digital released a report about Polygon as the Swiss Army knife of scaling solutions and emphasized how fast it's growing, how well it's doing, how many DeFi apps have migrated to it. This is what the Polygon ecosystem looks like. We got to talk about the rise of Polygon, David. So what's happening here?
Yeah, so the Swiss Army knife of L2s is a really interesting take. And my buddy Michael Wong, the chief of culture at Bankless, made this really good take that, you know, there's a reason why Loopring has had like troubles trying to get out the door, and it's because like SushiSwap can't build on Loopring. Loopring has to build its own.
It's
liquidity.
not open.
It's not open, right? And so SushiSwap comes into Polygon, and just deploys itself on Polygon, and like, oh, like we take this big project on AL1 and just we put it on the Polygon, and all of a sudden that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Shout out to Michael Wong. Here he is. What?
Oh, hey, Michael Wong. What are you doing? Is that real? Did that just happen?
That really does happen. He's in the back. And so that's kind of like this gets into a broader conversation as what really Polygon is, right? It's not like a specific L2. It's a Swiss Army knife of L2s.
Well, I got to stop you here. You here though. Okay. Because L2, we've defined this before.
Sure.
L2 is secured by an L1.
Sure.
So an L2 on Ethereum would be secured, the economic security and the underlying asset of the L1 of ETH. And Polygon is not quite that. It does checkpoint back to Ethereum, but it is more like a sidechain. At least they have a Plasma version, but that's not really what we're talking about here. It's their proof of stake version, which has like a set of validators. So it's almost like similar to maybe Cosmos, similar to a more, I guess, distributed version of Binance Chain even, right? It does checkpoint to ETH. So there are some differences, but like you were saying layer 2, would you amend that? It's not, because it's not really a layer 2, is it?
Yes, you are technically correct, and that is the correct way to view things, and that's the informed way to view things. I will not amend this because I'm going to put on my first cycler hat and my crypto novice open, like non-informed perspective, and which is going to be the mainstream perspective, right? So they come onto Ethereum and they say like, oh, gas prices, those really suck. How do I get rid of those? Some people got rid of those by going to Binance Smart Chain, and which is a different chain. Other people are going to get rid of those by going to Polygon. And this is where the question of does decentralization really matter can actually, I think, be much more fitting, because the difference between Optimism and Arbitrum, which are like holistic, complete, uncompromising L2s, and Arbitrum and Polygon, maybe that difference is less, and maybe we are ready to sacrifice decentralization, not because we're sacrificing it at the base layer, but we're okay with sacrificing it at the L2 layer, And so, to some degree, if Polygon is not a true L2 and it's actually just a sidechain that checkpoints to Ethereum, to some degree, if it just works and it's not maximally decentralized in the way that, you know, other L2s could be, if it just works and everyone gets their funds back and nothing breaks, that's great. That's fine. Call it an L2 at that point in time.
Okay. I'm going to take the other side of this for a second. Would you say the same about Binance Chain? Right? Binance Chain has had definitely some transaction volume. There are definitely some applications on Binance Chain that are doing well. Definitely lower gas fees. Is there a difference between Binance Chain and Polygon in your mind?
Yes, there's two main differences. One, you have to go through Binance to get to Binance Smart Chain. So that is a big change. Like the process of actually moving your funds there actually literally goes through, I think that's true, literally goes through a centralized service.
Well, let's say there was a bridge.
Yeah, okay. So say there is a bridge. Okay. One is about the incentive misalignment between Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum. And in stark contrast, the attempted incentive alignment between Polygon and Ethereum. The Polygon team, Mihailo, Sandeep, Ethereum bulls, like, want to help Ethereum. They are politically aligned with Ethereum, and Polygon is trying to become constructed in a way that's politically aligned to Ethereum. On a technical level, that's involved with checkpointing to Ethereum, and that kind of removes that centralization vectors over time. Not perfectly, but over time it removes that centralization vectors by checkpointing. But also, just there's a conversation of allowing Ether to be gas on Polygon. And so there's the Matic token, which you stake to be part of the consensus level 2 Matic, which is what separates Matic from Ethereum and makes a division. But what they are considering is using Ether as the consumable gas asset on Polygon. And so they are, and I used this metaphor yesterday when I was talking to Mike. It reminds me of like two kingdoms back in the old times, and one kingdom's bigger than the other, and one kingdom owns the smaller kingdom and makes the smaller kingdom pay taxes to the bigger kingdom. Ethereum is like, oh, do you want our blessings? You use our money as the native fee payment currency on Matic, right? Like, you better use our money. Like, and so Matic is giving up. And it's like, oh, Ethereum, please like us. We want you to like us. You know how we will get you to like us? We will use your money as the consumable, transformable asset, and we will give up that role of the Matic token to Ether, the token, which just is making a. And so really what Matic is doing is optimizing. It's making a hybrid bullish position between Matic bulls and Ether bulls, and trying to blend Matic community and Ethereum community. And that's starkly different than Binance Smart Chain. And so to tie this off, the main difference between Matic and Polygon and Binance Smart Chain is political alignment with Ethereum. And as we say at the end of the day, it all collapses down to layer 0, which is people.
So you're saying even though some of those things haven't happened yet, like ETH being used as a native fee, for instance, and I know, by the way, Polygon has other plans to roll out more layer 2 like solutions, right? So Polygon is kind of a Swiss Army knife. Proof of stake chain is just one approach. They plan to have kind of a roll-up based approach in the future. But what you're saying is those plans, even though they're in the future, like, because they are socially and politically aligned with Ethereum, then that's why you trust Polygon more than you would Binance Chain. Whereas like CZ is not socially or politically aligned with Ethereum. He is socially and politically aligned with Binance, right, the company, and BNB token holders maybe. But like, if that's the case, David, is this you being like, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate, right? I'm like, I like what's going on, but is this you being tribal about things? Like, some people would say, David's saying Polygon good, but Binance Smart Chain bad. Like, there's a contradiction here. What would you say to that?
I think the contradiction is not there. And I think Polygon good, Binance Smart Chain bad is that, you know, Binance is bankers, and Polygon is attempting to be as aligned with the values, and be an extension of the values of Ethereum as possible. I think there's something to say that the absolute insane rise of Matic token over the past month has occurred simultaneously with the rise in Ether, the asset, over the last month. People rotating into Matic is a fractal off of people rotating into Ether. And it was a political rotation both ways, right? Like, people understanding that Ethereum is a place to be. Also, Matic is the Binance Smart Chain killer. And so while perhaps they are fundamentally constructed similarly, even though checkpointing is actually a very big point about
there are
Polygon,
some differences for sure. Right. I totally agree.
But the difference is that Binance Smart Chain is a banker's chain through and through, and I'm pretty sure consensus is permissioned, whereas Matic consensus is not permissioned with a Matic token. And overall, they are committed to Ethereum values, and that's really what the through line of Polygon is. And so that's a very big difference.
The big take here is something that we've, I think, predicted on Bankless is actually coming true. That sidechains like Binance Smart Chain aren't actually competing against Ethereum. They're competing against other Ethereum sidechains or Ethereum's layer 2. That's what they're really competing against. And we've seen this massive rise in Polygon as it's kind of got its feet at the expense of not Ethereum, but at the expense of Binance Smart Chain, right? Like, a lot of that activity is starting to leak over to Polygon, and, you know, at the expense of Binance Smart Chain. So it's like two layer 2s, two side chains competing against one another. and Ethereum is Polygon is starting to capture that flow from Ethereum now.